Hello viewers and welcome to a special program on Prudent today, and we have got a special program here which talks about My Parents, My Paradise, and that's a campaign which is being led today by the Girls Islamic Organization of Goa. And I have with me spearheading the campaign over here Shamin. Shamin is Master in Psychology from St. Xavier's College, and she's a very active member of the Goa Islamic Organization. And Shamin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashok sir.
We also have along with us Maulana Mubin. He's a Shura member of the Jamaat-e-Islami Goa, and he's along with us today to help us address issues with respect to parents and spirituality. So we're going to hear from him as well today. Welcome sir to the show. Yeah. We also have with us from Kunj, we have got Aarti Sinha. Aarti Sinha has, she's a project care manager and she specializes in the elder care program, or she actually takes care of the elder care project that Kunj is running in Goa. And she's got about 8 years of experience. She's been with the organization for the last 5 years in this special project. Madam, welcome to the show. Yeah. And last but not the least, we've got Mr. Damodar Mozo. Well, of course, who doesn't know about this gentleman? Very respected member from Goa, and he's a very he's a very respected writer. He's a poet. He's won awards at the national level, and also been nominated for one of his writings on short stories by the Frank or Kunur, which is a very coveted and a respected award. Sir, thank you very much for being with us today on the show. Thank you. So, well, we've got our guests with us today, and we'll get started right away with the first question to Ms. Shamin. Shamin, so tell us more about this project. Tell us what inspired you to actually start this kind of a campaign, and what are you looking forward to?
So, My Parents, My Paradise is an initiative taken by Girls Islamic Organization. So, to introduce a little about Girls Islamic Organization, we aim at reconstruction of the society on moral basis. So, we came up with the initiative because we wanted to bring awareness about the abuse and the elder neglect that is happening, and we wanted to make people, the young, especially young parents, children and students, aware about the amount of neglect and to promote elder care. So basically we are trying to promote elder care and to make people aware of how we should look after our parents in their old age.
Okay, so taking cue from that, she's while you speak about elder care and whether we have to take care of our parents, let me quickly jump to Ms. Aarti. You have been working on this project which talks about elder care. What is your experience, because I believe you're on the field working with elderly people?
Yeah.
What's your experience and what do you have to share for us?
Well, I've worked with a lot of people from old age homes in Goa, and most of the old age homes, first of all, there are so many old age homes in Goa, and they're all full of senior citizens, many of whom may not have children, but there are many who do have children, whether in Goa or outside the city. But they're there, and unfortunately not enough attention is given to them, not enough warmth or love that they do deserve at that stage is provided to them. And old age homes, you know how they are, they're usually understaffed, so the kind of care and the kind of quality of care that they do need at that stage is unfortunately not provided. So it's not a very good situation.
All right. Sir, coming to you, being a tier 2 city that we have, we're not a metro or something, and we are looking at a rise in this scenario of a rise in old age homes. What is your take on this? What is it that you would expect from the youth, because you've seen generation, okay, and what would you expect from your youth, and how would you compare it with a couple of years back, during your youth? I'd like to hear from you.
म्हणजे भुरगेपण गोंयांत गेलां. गोंयांत जे लोक समाज जो आसा, गोंयचो समाज, तो बदल जालाच, काळा प्रमाणे हो बदल जाला. But over the years, the changes that have taken place, I think it was inevitable. the rise in the spread of education and higher education has prompted the children to go outside Goa in search of greener pastures. Naturally, you can't expect them to give their full attention to their parents. Parents back home, sometimes, if they are well off, well and good. Otherwise, they really have to slog, even in their old age, to look after themselves. In Goa, particularly in villages, this problem is not much because everyone lives in their own house. But in towns, I think this problem is getting aggravated because they have to live lonely life, when a secluded life without their children. And I don't blame their children for not taking care of their parents, because the circumstances sometimes are compelling. So in view of that, yes, with the changing times, they are being neglected. But since we are talking, I'm talking about the changing times, I would also say the parents of today, the modern day parents, they are also very educated. If you compare with the parents of the olden days, then this problem is acute, where they are illiterate or semi-literates and children are well off, they are not taking care of their parents. There it is a slightly acute problem in these cases. But by and large, I don't think it is very acute right now. But then there are Aarti and both Shamil, both are acting in the field, working in the field. So they may have some other experience. My experience comes from the village where I live. I have spent my younger days and I continue to live there. And this has reflected in my writings also.
Yes, sir, we've read your writings, they're very inspiring. So Aarti, I'll just quickly come back to you, and I'd like to understand from you, in your last 5 years of experience that you have seen, do you see that there is an increase, decrease, or whether it's a straight line when it comes to, neglect of parents, or the rise in the amount of parents who are coming out for help in the mental area?
I think as Sir rightly said, a lot of children, because of employment and education reasons, they do migrate out of Goa because unfortunately Goa does not have the infrastructure to support that right now. And parents at that age are hesitant to step out of their comfort zone and their culture that they have lived in. So they do not wish to go with the children either. So we can't say we can't blame the children, we can't blame the families or anything. I think the society then has to step in and provide that sort of, maybe the kind of services that our organization is providing, for example, like a support system which can help with the older people when the children are not able to. The children have to earn money to even support financially, so you can't expect them to stop everything and be at home, because someone has to pay for the medical bills also. But I think society together has to step in and work with each other rather than point fingers and say that no, it's your fault, it's your fault. So
what we're actually hearing is that parents are not really neglecting it. It's because of a need that they are moving out. And so let me come to Maulana Sahab. Maulana Sahab, आपके हिसाब से what do you feel? आपको क्या लगता है religious side से बच्चों की क्या जिम्मेदारी है माँ बाप की तरफ?
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। देखिए, सभी धर्मों में बहुत ज़ोर दिया गया है कि बच्चे बड़े होने पर ख़ास तौर पर अपने माँ बाप का ख्याल रखें। कुरान मजीद में तो इतना ज़्यादा ज़ोर दिया गया कि कहा वक़ज़ा रब्बुका अल्ला ताबुदू इल्ला इय्याह व बिल वालिदैन इहसाना। कहा गया है कि अल्लाह ताला ने हुक्म दिया है कि सिवाय उसके किसी की इबादत नहीं करना और वालिदैन के साथ अच्छा बर्ताव करना। उसी आयत में आगे है कि अगर वो बुढ़ापे को पहुंच जाएं तो उनकी सेवा करना, उनकी खिदमत करना, तुमको कोई परेशानी आ जाए तो उफ़ भी नहीं करना, उनको डांटना तक भी नहीं, क्योंकि लास्ट स्टेज में परेशानी होती है। अगर इन सभी चीज़ों को आप देखें तो इस्लाम हो या दूसरे धर्म हो, उन सब का डिमांड ये है कि बड़े लोग घर में रहें, बच्चे उनकी सेवा करें, उनकी खिदमत करें। अब ये जो बात आ रही है पैनल की तरफ से कि नए ज़माने में अपने करियर के लिए, एजुकेशन के लिए, जॉब के लिए आदमी परेशान हो जाता है और उन हालात में माँ बाप की सेवा कर पाना उसके लिए मुमकिन नहीं दिखता है। तो अगर आप ये देखें कि दुनिया में आदमी अच्छा करना तो चाहता है, लेकिन अगर वो मरने के बाद की ज़िंदगी को बर्बाद करना चाहे तो फिर वो कुछ भी कर सकता है। लेकिन बेहतर ये है कि जब माँ के पैरों तले जन्नत है और जब बाप जन्नत का दरवाज़ा है तो उन दोनों की सेवा किया जाए और अपनी बाद की ज़िंदगी को अच्छी बनाई जाए, वहाँ कामयाबी हासिल की जाए।
ठीक है। सो बेसिकली ये है कि माँ बाप की खिदमत पे और सेवा पे जो है ज़्यादा तवज्जो दिया गया है इन ऑल द रिलीजियस स्क्रिप्चर्स। ओके, फेयर इनफ। सो another question, Aarti, I'm coming back to you. Are there any laws or any any regulations which are there which demand certain basic responsibilities of from children or from parents or vice versa?
So there is the welfare for the maintenance of parents and senior citizens. There is an act which is prevalent, unfortunately, which does insist that children have to take responsibility of their parents financially and emotionally. You can't, like, abuse and things like that are definitely looked down upon as per the law as well. But unfortunately, it's not, I think it's not been told enough to the seniors nor to the children. Not too many people know about the prevalence of such an act. So that's why I think advantage is being taken where abuse is happening, neglect is happening, and the parents don't go and say anything because for them it's that, I don't want to complain against my own child. And the child unfortunately does take advantage of the fact that the parents don't know any better, the neighborhood or the relatives don't know any better. So they get away with it, unfortunately. I think we need to raise awareness of this act that is there to protect the senior citizens and their rights.
Got it. Wonderful. So we're talking about raising awareness about the opportunities in law which are there for the senior citizens. Okay, I'd like to ask you, is there something that you feel is something additional or something more that we can do in our education system or in our moral education systems that we can do at an early stage in children, which can maybe make things look a little more brighter?
Definitely, education has to play a major role in upbringing of the children. Unfortunately, this was being taken care of earlier by parents, by teachers, and by the surroundings. We were taught to respect the elders because the elders deserved respect. Whether today it is so or not, I am not sure. I am not part of this project, but of course I have all sympathies for the weaker sections of the society. Whichever section, whichever is weaker, need to be protected, need to be supported. So in that sense, when parents grow old, they need a support, they need protection, they need all kind of support. I agree with it. But there are parents who are not given enough values to their children. After all, you reap the fruits from the seeds
What
that
you
you
have
have
sown.
sown. So what is important is today we think of our future. We are going to grow old someday. Then if we want our children to take care of us, then inculcate those values among the children right now. So this should go to children through education. Unfortunately, today's education has become bookish. So they make by heart, they learn from the computers and others. No human emotions are involved. So unfortunate part of it is, yes, I have to blame the educational system today is prevailing in India or in Goa. But I am very optimistic. I have faith in my youth, and I am sure with little guidance, probably from either these two who are acting in the field and from others, they will take due care of their parents. Sometimes it is very compelling, sometimes it's not possible. Those who are abroad, I have three of my important stories. These are my children. All three children have gone abroad. And poor woman has planted trees in the name of their children. And she takes care of the trees. Unfortunately, in the name of development, the trees have to be cut. And then you can understand her state of mind.
The emotional impact.
What is important is which children don't understand how emotionally attached she was to her trees. So this part is missing. So ethics, the discipline, and sort of this sense of understanding has to be inculcated among the youth.
Understood.
Can I add something to
Sure.
what he said about children learning from their parents? Very often children also pick up on the way the parents treat the grandparents.
The grandparents.
And often they overhear or they
That's
talk
right.
freely to the parents who are complaining about the grandparents being an inconvenience or being a burden. So at that young age, if a child is viewing an older person as an inconvenience, the parent is also going to get to that stage. So he or she will automatically grow up thinking that old age is an inconvenience for the family. So what they see in the house is how they will also practice and how they will behave in
So
future.
essentially, if you were to make it very short, you're saying what goes around comes around.
Yeah, exactly.
What goes around comes
and the
around.
first learning starts at home. So yeah.
So that brings us to a very compelling question. What actually, Maulana Sahab, what do you think कि ये क्या reasons है कि ये जो neglect आज नज़र आ रहा है, इसका एक major cause क्या हो सकता है?
एक तो बात आ रही है, तालीम तरबियत की कमी है। बच्चे एहसास नहीं कर रहे हैं कि ये जब बच्चे थे तो माँ बाप ने उनके लिए कितना दुख उठाया, कैसे कैसे अपने आराम को सबको तज करके इनको बड़ा किया। तो ये जो शुक्र करने का जज्बा है ये इनके अंदर नहीं है। फिर एक और जो बड़ी अहम चीज़ होती है, इस्लाम ने जिसको बड़ा ज़ोर दिया है कि आपको अल्लाह से इनाम लेना है, वो जो रिवार्ड लेने का जो कंसेप्ट है वो नहीं है। तो उसके वजह से होता ये है कि हमें कोई ख़ास फ़र्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है। मटेरियलिस्टिक अप्रोच ने सबको सिर्फ पैसे के गिर्द घूमने का आदी बना दिया है। तो वो ये नहीं सोच पा रहे हैं कि अगर मैंने अपने माँ बाप को दुख दिया या उनकी सेवा नहीं की या उनके साथ किसी तरह की बदसलूकी की, तो इसकी वजह से मुझे अल्लाह ताला पूछेगा मुझसे, मुझे उसके यहाँ जवाब देना होगा, मुझे उसके वजह से वो नरक में डालेगा, स्वर्ग मुझे नहीं मिलेगी। ये जो कंसेप्ट है ये धुंधला गया है। इसलिए बड़ी आसानी से इस पहलू से लोग अपने जी में जो आया जो मनमानी करते हैं। मैं एक याद दिलाऊंगा कि आमिर ख़ान ने सत्यमेव जयते में इस मौजू पे एक बात जो कही है, तो उसमें बड़ी अलार्मिंग कैफियत बताई है। बाज़ जगहों की बहुत कमाने वाले लोग हैं लेकिन उनकी माँ भीख मांग रही है, उसमें बताया गया है। तो ये जो सिचुएशन है ये सिर्फ इस वजह से है कि आदमी बिल्कुल मटेरियलिस्टिक हो करके मैं मेरी ज़ात और इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं सोचने को तैयार नहीं है।
So by what we're actually hearing is that there is some.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but then let us not talk about स्वर्ग और नरक की बात है। ये स्वर्ग भी यही है, नरक भी यही है। इसलिए तो हम ऐसे जो हाल चल रहा है संसार में हम देख रहे हैं क्योंकि हमारी वजह से सब हो रहा है। लेकिन बात यह है कि whether the children we expect the children to behave in a particular way.
In a particular fashion. That's what I was coming to.
This is not what we give and we take. If we are going to bring up our children from that point of view, that we are going to give this much, you will have to return me when I am old in that proportion. This should not happen. सो बच्चों के दिल में ये नहीं हमने डालना चाहिए कि आज मैं आपके लिए इतना सब कुछ कर रहा हूँ तो आगे चलकर आपने भी मुझे उसी तरह मुझसे बर्ताव करना चाहिए। नहीं, आपकी बात सही है। सभी धर्मों ने एक ही कहा है कि बच्चों की तरफ उनसे बर्ताव करिए, बच्चों की तरफ बर्ताव दीजिए, तभी वो बड़े होकर हमारी तरफ भी उसी नज़रिया से देख लेंगे। सो माई इंसिस्टेंस इज yes, we give them enough. It is our duty, not as our obligation. It is my duty to take care of my child in all circumstances. See that my child, he or she, is well educated and takes the right path ahead. अगर वो सही रास्ता चुन कर लेता है तो बस हमारे लिए और कुछ चाहिए, और क्या चाहिए? Yes, now in this modern age, since we are talking the things of today, not of the past, most of the parents are educated, may not be highly educated. Since they are educated, they are aware of how to take care of their old age. So insurance करते हैं, so they have to take care of their old age.
Whether it is health or whether it is...
Whereas, I'm sorry, I have failed in doing insurance. I did not expect me to live so long, so probably I was wrong. But it should be taken care of, and if parents think of their future, then I don't think they will heavily rely upon their children. But yes, I agree with Shamil, also Maulana Sahab, आपने जो बात कही है बिल्कुल सही है. When your parents are in distress, it is the bounden duty of their pals to take care of them. This nobody will deny. But at the same time, I think parents should not expect too much from them, and children should not feel that they are doing...
burden.
You don't make them feel guilty.
एक्चुअली मैं कहना ये चाह रहा था, ये बच्चों को बड़े होने के बाद खुद ब खुद ये फील करना चाहिए. मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि मैं जब बच्चा था तो इन लोगों ने मेरे लिए कितना दुख उठाया.
भाई सही बात है.
अपने माँ बाप के दुख को बच्चों को फील करना चाहिए, तो फिर उनके अंदर से अपने माँ के तरफ से, बाप के तरफ से एक जज्बा पैदा होगा कि मैं भी इनकी सेवा करूँ. मैं एक्चुअली ये कहना चाहता हूँ.
नहीं, सही बात है.
Depends on the upbringing of the child.
Upbringing of the child. So, Aarti, let me come to you quickly and ask you, how serious, because we've been talking about two varied aspects, one being a very positive side and one being a very, very, very crucial and critical kind of a side. So, how serious is the issue of neglect of parents? Let's actually look at the ground situation. Is it really a very serious issue, or do you see it getting there? Do you see that it is probably maybe because you're looking at stats and you're looking at data, so are you seeing that there is a maybe small, large, I don't know, is it going up, going down, steady, what is it?
See, I've been in the field only for 5 years, so I don't think 5 years is enough for me to see a change in the statistics. But when I started working with senior citizens, I came with the mindset that the situation was terrible. But after I did start working with them, I've seen that it's not as bad as media makes it out to be. I'm sorry, like what you see in movies and what you read in the paper, it's very dramatized. Like it's very like a small thing is exaggerated and it's blown up, and especially in movies. I mean, it's a totally different thing. The Dukhiari Ma and all that. It's really not like that anymore. Okay. Like Damodar ji said that they are very independent. Also, senior citizens now are very independent in terms of what they want in life, what they want to do, how they want to spend their time. They are not really as dependent on the children for material things most of the time. And even when they are, children do meet the needs as much as they can. The lack that I see is the emotional connect between parents and children, because maybe there's just no time, I think. But then again, I know that one can make the time if you want to. So the emotional connect is more important. Other things are then taken care of. Like a parent will not care if the child is not being able to provide material things if the child spends a little time with the parent. So I think that is more important than the other.
So, I was actually going through some data and some, some researches which were done, and as she very rightly mentioned, a lot of this disconnect is majorly, the emotional disconnect the elders have not really found a need for for the worldly things, but that emotional disconnect, the lack of communication and loneliness being on a very high scale. So what do you feel, what is it that we can do as a community or as as a youth, what can be done as a preventive measure to ensure that we can maybe not eradicate but at least reduce it to an extent?
I'll start with my own experience. My wife and me, we live lonely at home. We are two at home. My children are all married, settled. I meet them occasionally, more often than probably many others. They love us, but I don't expect anything from them other than occasional meeting and saying hello, bas. And I'll give you another example. I was recently, a few months, 4 months back, I was in New Zealand. I went on tour with my wife. I found so many Americans, Europeans coming there on their own, in their 80s, late 70s, or maybe advanced age. But they come of their own and they enjoy the life. And then when I asked them, inquired with them, they said yes, they had savings enough to go around. And they don't expect anything else. And all the Indians whom I met, every time they saw two of us, they asked me, "जो आपका लड़का यहाँ काम करता है, आपकी लड़की यहाँ है, आप उनके सहारे आए हैं."
So there's a complete change in thought process.
Indian parents go there
only when their children
are living there, and whereas the Europeans or other countries, parents go there when they have their own savings. So this नजरिया जो है वो बदलना चाहिए. First of all, I feel all the parents right now should start thinking of
planning for
independent life, independent of any support from them. But at the same time, it is, as I said, it's the bounden duty of their children to see, even from the distance, that their parents are well off. And I think in Goa, I can't generalize because not everybody is of the same kind. But then most of the Goan youth, they take due care of their parents, directly or indirectly, financially or not financially.
Fair enough.
Maybe in the rest of India, the situation is slightly different. I don't want to enter into that. But as far as Goa is concerned, I have full faith in Goan youth.
That's a very positive way to get that. And I'd like to quickly end this over here with the last question to Shamin. So Shamin, you've been running this campaign for the last couple of days, and you probably have been working longer on that. So any closing notes, or where do you see this campaign heading to?
Okay, we've just started the campaign, and we are so happy and so overwhelmed with the amount of the response that we've got, the positive response that we've got, and we are encouraged to not restrict ourselves to the till the 10th of September. We are going to work more in this field for the elderly and in the field of geriatry, and we are going to do a research, and we are going to come up with a research also. So
fantastic.
We are very positive about it.
Great. So
निमाने इतने सांगू शकता गोयात जे जो बावर चलता ये लोकां खातीर तो एक वेगळी पावंड्यार चलता from a higher level, whereas actually the people who are needy are from grassroots. सामके गरीब पावंड्या वेले तांकां खरो आदार जाय तो तांकां मेळचो इतलेच हांव हांगा अपेक्षा व्यक्त करता.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much to our wonderful guests. It's been a wonderful conversation, very interactive, great line of thoughts, and we thank you all for being here with us in the studio today. Thank you very much, viewers, and do write us back with your comments. Have a great day ahead.